Of course, Nixon and Agnew weren't the only politicians embroiled in controversy in 1969. One of the most significant concerned Senator Edward Kennedy of Massachusetts. The uproar over what did or did not happen on a small bridge leading to Chappaquiddick Island on Martha's Vineyard would affect Teddy Kennedy's political future, and indeed the political future of the entire nation for over a decade to come. Shortly before midnight on the night of July 18th, while he was returning from a party on the island, Kennedy's black 1967 Oldsmobile plunged from the narrow bridge and sank into the waters of Poocha Pond. Kennedy managed to swim to safety, but his passenger, 28-year-old Mary Jo Kopechne, was drowned. The cold facts don't reflect the uproar the incident touched off.
The car that I was driving.
A few days later, Kennedy went on national television to explain that he had dived several times for the girl but could not find her. Then, saying he was in a state of shock and confusion, he returned to his hotel and didn't report the accident until the next morning.
I remember thinking as the cold water rushed in around my head that I was for certain drowning. Then water entered my lungs and I actually felt the sensation of drowning. But somehow I struggled to the surface alive. I made immediate and repeated efforts to save Mary Jo by diving into the strong and murky current, but succeeded only in increasing my state of utter exhaustion and alarm.
The only formal charge made against Kennedy was failure to report an accident. He pleaded guilty and received a suspended sentence. Kennedy had been virtually assured of the Democratic nomination for president in 1972. But when the time came, with Chappaquiddick still haunting him, he would withdraw from the race. The death of Mary Jo Kopechne was not the only one to shock the nation in 1969. General of the Army, Dwight David Eisenhower, the nation's 34th president, died in Washington at the age of 78. It was Eisenhower who chose Richard Nixon as his running mate in 1952 and, sometimes reluctantly, helped to guide Nixon's political career. Another victim in 1969 was 47-year-old Judy Garland, who 30 years earlier stole America's heart when she sang Over the Rainbow in the movie Wizard of Oz. The official cause of death was an accidental overdose of Seconal. Perhaps no deaths in 1969 shocked America as much as the results of a two-day murder spree carried out by a 32-year-old drifter named Charles Manson and a band of followers he called his family. The first set of victims included beautiful movie actress Sharon Tate, wife of film director Roman Polanski. Miss Tate, who was 8 months pregnant, was tied to a beam on the ceiling of her home in the Hollywood Hills and stabbed 7 times and shot once. The 4 other victims, who included coffee heiress Abigail Folger and society hairdresser Jay Sebring, were also repeatedly stabbed and beaten and shot. The next night, a man and wife in another section of Los Angeles were also murdered by Manson and his family. Manson would later testify that the victims were all chosen by chance, that he didn't know any of them, but just wanted to commit a crime that would shock the world. Violent death seemed to be everywhere in 1969. The worst assault came in August under the misleadingly benign name of Camille, possibly the most destructive hurricane ever recorded in America. Camille roared across Mississippi and Louisiana and Alabama, with winds of nearly 200 miles an hour, crushing everything that stood in its way. Further north, 20-foot flood tides were sent raging through Virginia and West Virginia. But when the winds finally passed, some 400 dead were left in its wake, and 70,000 others were left homeless. The damage would reach $1.5 billion. It seems clear that 1969 was not America's happiest year, and yet there was still hope.
Hiya. My name is Kermit, and Gordon has asked me to say a word or two in behalf of the letter W. Now, this is a letter W, by the way. It is a easy letter to make. It's made with all straight lines. And you need a W to make such words as wash, and woman, and weeping willow, and I'm sorry, there was some sort of mistake here. I thought I was supposed to talk about W, but they sent me an N here instead.
A delightful television program called Sesame Street became a surprise sensation. Produced by the Children's Television Workshop for the Public Broadcasting Service, Sesame Street was aimed at an audience of preschoolers. But its characters, with names like Big Bird and the Cookie Monster, soon became national heroes.
Bert, that there are two of us, you and me. Did you ever think of that? You and me, that makes two. Oh, I love the number two.
Ernie, it's just a little movie about the number two.
Yes, wasn't it beautiful, little Bert?
Ernie, that's all it was. The world must go on.
The program was presented in such an intelligent and entertaining manner that the kids couldn't tear their parents away from the TV set. Veni, vidi, vici, boasted Julius Caesar after one of his victories. I came, I saw, I conquered. But in 1969, the cry became mini, midi, maxi, as 10 million American women came and saw and were conquered by fashion fads called the mini skirt, the midi skirt, and the maxi skirt. The names are self-explanatory, and so is the appeal. A more enduring fashion contribution was the mass acceptance of something called pantyhose. The total female population of the United States in 1969 was 103 million.
Baggy knees are out. Definitely out.
And among them, they bought 624 million pair of the new one-piece hosiery. According to usually reliable sources, the main attraction was that pantyhose freed women from grappling with all sorts of belts and hooks and straps needed to keep the old-style stockings from ending up about their ankles.
They fit. All of me.
Our legs fit your legs. Get your first pair of legs at the Legs Boutique today. Stockings, 89 cents. Regular and all sheer pantyhose from $1.39.
A man who would one day